All right, so that is just moments ago during a regularly scheduled press briefing at the White House. Josh Earnest was speaking to reporters when Secret Service came into that room, asked that the room be evacuated. You saw Mr. Earnest then leaving the room, as well as all the other reporters that were seated there in that room, including Mark Knoller, CBS News correspondent, and Chip Reid, our other CBS News correspondent who was in that briefing. We're trying to get Chip on the phone. Chip is on the phone with us now. Chip, thanks for joining us. What can you tell us about what's going on now?
Well, I can tell you it was moving toward the end, maybe halfway through the briefing with here at the White House, and a Secret Service agent poked his head in the door and said, everybody needs to evacuate now. So people got up, and assuming it was just another bag that somebody left someplace and that we'd be right back in a few minutes, everybody got up and not with any sense of urgency, went outside, and then they moved us down the stairs on the west side of the West Wing onto West Executive Avenue, which is the little lane that they use for parking between the West Wing of the White House and the old Executive Office Building, now known as the Eisenhower Executive Office Building. And that's where we are now. We are in an outdoor area around a prefab building, a prefab auditorium that they've added to the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, and we're waiting for some kind of news on what happened here. There are emails flying around right now that there may have been a bomb threat phoned in, and may have specifically mentioned the White House briefing room, which is why we're over here. And we did not see a lot of members of the White House staff leave the building. So curious why they would move us out if there was a dangerous situation, and would not move out the members of the White House staff unless they moved them in another direction. But we saw some White House staff walking into the West Wing as they were ushering us out. So there was no sense of urgency or danger among the White House staff, but without telling us what was going on, the Secret Service certainly gave us the impression that they were deeply concerned about something.
All right, well, just 2 minutes ago, actually, as we were talking here, Chip, Josh Earnest tweeted that the White House daily briefing will resume shortly after the Brady briefing room had been cleared. Hopefully won't be much longer. So it looks as though whatever...
Actually, at this very moment, they just allowed us to walk back to the White House. We are now walking on the West Executive Avenue. All of this, of course, is within the White House complex, within the security barriers and the fences of the White House. So we never left that secured area. But all this appears to be over. We are all just walking back to the White House, to the West Wing of the White House and the briefing room. I don't know if they will continue with the briefing.
Well, certainly Josh Earnest seems to be indicating that they will resume that briefing, Chip, and I'm guessing that that will be the topic of discussion once you are all situated and Josh Earnest is back at the podium.
Right. I had a lot of questions about ISIS I wanted to ask, but now I'm a bit more curious about this, although certainly we won't let this overshadow the news.
Chip, just as far as evacuations go, though, I mean, obviously, this is one of the most secure places in all of our nation. And evacuations, I mean, I don't want to sound flippant, but, I mean, are they kind of old hat here?
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, it happens all the time. It's true. Every time there's a bag left someplace that nobody's claiming, they move people around. But this Mark Knoller, who has been covering this place for many, many years, says this is the first time they've ever actually interrupted a briefing because of and evacuated the briefing room because of a security concern. Now, back in September, you'll recall when that gentleman leaped the fence and made it into the White House itself. That was late in the day. The president had left for Camp David. There was no briefing going on, but Secret Service did come through and evacuate the briefing room. The people who were left in there, people who were working in their cubicles. But this was the first time in Mark Knoller's memory, and that probably means the first time ever, that they've actually stopped the briefing and evacuated the briefing room because of a security concern.
Chip, we can see some of the reporters and photographers now filing back into the White House briefing room there. We're having some live pictures that our viewers can see, and hopefully I'll see you there enter the door soon. We can watch you live as you do that. But I see everyone on their Blackberries or on their iPhones probably tweeting that it's on all clear.
Yeah, I tell you, in this day of fast communication, everybody has been communicating in multiple ways. So the message certainly gets out quickly on just a zillion different wavelengths.
All right, Chip Reid, I'm glad everything turned out okay. We'll let you get back to the briefing and get your questions answered. And
Okay, great.
we'll check in with you a little bit later.